All right. I think we're live. Hopefully. And hopefully the internet isn't going to derp this time. But. So, another chill stream because you guys wanted more of this. Well, more chill streams where we just kind of sit and talk as, subscribers to, viewer to creator, basically. So, first of all, how's everybody's night? And, well, technically, night, evening, whatever you want to call it. Inshallah. Um, so yeah, just another chill stream where we're just going to just relax and talk for the evening. Now, keep in mind, if my internet derps, like if my internet legit just decides to die, give me a second to refresh it and it will be fixed. Trust me, it's gonna happen. It's just going to take a momentary fix and yeah, it'll be fixed. QD wonder what's. I don't know what's going on there. Hello, Zachary. I don't know what's going on with QD but there's a lot of sad emotion or emoticons like up. I don't know what's going on. So basically, we're here to talk as viewer to creator. No editing, no specific stuff, just talking and getting to know one another. So you can ask anything related to the show, outside the show, all except for personal stuff, and we're good. Hello, Pink Unicorn Boy? Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, this is just basically a chill stream where we're just going to talk for a creator to viewer, subscriber, if you're subscribed to the channel. What's up? So I just wanted to. You guys said you wanted more of these kinds of things, so I figured, why not? Let's do this again. And again, if my internet derps, just give me a second to fix it, and it will be fine. It just takes because my I'm on my phone, so yeah, it's not just a simple refresh and fix thing. It just takes a minute to fix. After G5, I'm going to be feeling so fly like a like a G6, like a G6. Yeah, Far East Movement, I think is the name of the band, like from clear back in the day. So yeah, like I said, you guys can ask me questions that's related to the show, outside the show, or just non-personal stuff, and you can ask anything else. That's basically it. So, fill me with your questions, and let's just talk for a while and just have some peace and quiet. How do you feel about the last mid-season hiatus? Well, the thing is, I reacted to episode 13 with my friends on, I think, because we got leaked the episode early, and we basically reacted to it before it was released officially. So, yeah, I got to see it before. Of course, it's hard for me to watch it because, well, it's hard to believe that this is going to be the last mid-season hiatus of G4. But we've got the G4. Well, some are calling it G4.5. The special coming up, Rainbow Road Trip, I think is what's called. Something like that. But we've got that coming up, so I'm not trying to let it bother me too much, even though I'm probably gonna bawl like a baby in the season finale. Like I think that's where it's actually going to hurt, like where it's really gonna start getting emotional. Other than that, it's not really affecting me emotionally or personally. I just I just don't feel it yet. I think I'm just gonna feel it when finally G4 is over, and the cat ran away and never came back. Oh gosh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling because I've had 3 cats just run away from me. So yeah, it's not easy to cope with. I mean, I will bawl like a baby probably, And apparently my YouTube friend said, "Ah, that's nice. That's not a true friend." But excuse my squeaky as fuck chair. That means G5 is around the corner, Sparrow. I know the brony community will stay for the rest of us for sure. How do you feel about over voice acting? Um, in certain cases, okay, here's how over voice acting works. It it works in some cases. Like, okay, here's a perfect example. Like when in the movie when the main six and Spike are, out in the desert and basically trying, or they're just basically slowly losing their minds. That is where overacting really works. But any other time, it really doesn't work unless you're being a character that like has to fake a death or something like that, or has to overact as a way to, like, I don't know, lie about something or try to pull some ploy off. Like that's the best way to put it. But that is the places where only I think overacting works. Any other time, it feels like it's bad acting. Wow. But okay, again, if my internet derps, just give me a second to refix it, and it should be fine. I don't know what's been going on with my internet lately, but it's been being a dick. I don't know what the hell's up with it, but it's annoying for sure. But so I just got back from my niece's t-ball game, and I swear I'm the only one who really knows how to coach these kids. Hello, Twilight Sparkle. Um, basically, my niece's team did not. Well, the whole team itself did not know how to freaking do the right things. So I had to direct these kids correctly, because back in my much like back in the days when I was like 12, 13, I was on Little League. So I have experience in this field and I know what the hell I'm talking about. Like I wore the cleats, I wore the glove, I wore everything. That she actually said, "Oh, that's nice." Well, then that proves that she's not a real friend. That's the best way to put it. So, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you've seen that I have my choices for Month of Macabre 2019. And Mysterious, I may include one more thing, but it all depends on how time works out. But basically, they're all pony stories so far. Oh, jeez. I couldn't read that in time. Do you want to check it? Check it out. My Thomas remake. Thomas gets bumped. Crash remake. Okay, but basically, they're all pony-based stuff. Are you interested when it comes to voice acting? Are you into the voice impression or the acting in general? The acting. I mean, I'm interested in both, but the acting is where things really matter. Like if I just voiced Blue Blood basically without no character or no emotion whatsoever, it wouldn't be Blue Blood. It would just be dull. It would be boring. It'd be stupid. That's why I really admire Maud as a character, because she is one of those characters that can have like a dull voice, but also have emotion. It's like a conundrum that you really can't really figure out. It's like a paradox. Like it's a trick done by Hasbro very cleverly, and I don't know how they did it, but they made Maud into a character that has one personality, but also has a very dull like a dull persona. I don't understand how they did it, but they did it. But back to the Month Macabre stuff. So they're all pony stories, but I don't think that's bad by any means. But um, I'm not sure how this year's gonna go, honestly. One of them does have to do with like the Survey series. Another is a sequel to a fic from the past. I have a feeling you guys are gonna like this one. This one's more sci-fi based and more. It's pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed writing this one, and it took forever, but it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's gonna be a blast to edit. But I had to voice the character, which is basically Twilight. I had to voice her because this is mostly from Twilight's point of view, minus the end chapter. Um, and mm, the other one is something that I came up with pretty quickly. It was supposed to be something like totally different, but in the end, it was just a lot of. It turned out to be something totally different. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but boy, is it pretty messed up. Like it's gonna. If you're a little queasy on certain things, like I don't know, like it reminded me a lot of Butterflies. Like even as I was writing this, I was kind of getting a little sick myself. Oh geez, that's okay. Uh, season 9 is the final season. That's true. The acting is the important part in movies, but nowadays it's not. Yeah, bad acting's all over the place. Season 9 is last season. 9 news is probably fake. Yeah, it is. When there's no more good Grimdark tales, what stories are you going to be reading out of MLP? Grimdark will never stop. Horror's been around since the 1800s. Horror stories have been around for a long time, so I doubt that horror is going to go away. Okay, that's fine. Do you love Sunset Shimmer? Sunset Shimmer is a pretty good character to me. I like her character. It's good, and I don't know. I like her character. She's one of my favorite characters for sure. Uh, speaking of last season, I saw the series finale of The Amazing World of Gumball. I never really liked that show. Will kind of at Twilight. Again, guys, just let me fix it real quick, and I'll get it all situated. Sorry about that. My internet will derp every once in a while, so just give me a second to fix it, and it'll be all right. How do you think EQG will end? I think with a graduation, because it kind of seems like it's going the American Pie route, where basically it ended when there was graduation. I don't know. I think the Grimdark began in 1996, called The Song of Fire and Ice, Book 1, The Game of Thrones. I don't know. But basically, Grimdark is if you look it up, Grimdark is actually a terminology that was first discovered in like dystopic kind of tales. So dystopian like societies and all that stuff. That's basically where Grimdark originated. But Grimdark is described as two things: a story that basically leaves a sense of no hope, and also a story with just a screwed up ending that it's beyond like horror. It's beyond horror, and it's more like I don't know. It's beyond horror. It's something that just makes you emotional and very, very like fragile. It breaks you. Like that's the best way to describe Grimdark. Oh my god! Shut the bleep up. Sorry. Grimdarks are creepypasta. I'm talking about the OG creepypasta. OG creepypasta, I'm sorry, but it's not that good. I've become numb to most Grimdarks, lol. We'll have to change that. But basically, Grimdark has gone down the fucking drain, like a lot. It actually has. Like, anymore, people think Grimdark is this. It's something that needs to be gory in order, like gory and just full of a lot of like, just full of a lot of gore and blood and that kind of crap in order to be Grimdark. This is what one of the biggest freaking this is one of my biggest irks and one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to Grimdark. People think that it's about gore, blood. It has to have that in order to be Grimdark. No, it does not. Grimdark can be psychological. It can be anything you want it to be. Like most are torture porn, no doubt. But there's ones that are so freaking good. Like, look at Chrysalis's Revenge. Okay, it was definitely gory and very messed up. But in the end, it had a twist that was definitely just one of those twists that leaves the person completely just dumbfounded. But here's another perfect example: A Liver Song. Last year, that was my Halloween special. This did not have gore until the third part, and you did not see the twist coming. I'll let you guys listen to that if you want to find out what the twist is. I miss OG MLP Gen 4. Yeah, back when it was all when G4 was really, I don't know how to explain it. Back when G4 was, it still felt like an original and nostalgic thing. Nowadays, it's kind of gone bland, which is why some people have stopped watching the show. And I can understand people's, thoughts on that. I can feel people's thoughts. What's your favorite or least favorite Grimdark? Rocket to Insanity, Sweet Apple Massacre. Those ones are terrible. Grimdark can be emotional abuse, torture. You don't have to have gore or anything at all. Exactly. Like, Grimdark can be heavily psychological. Look at The Box. The Box is another one that I have written that focuses on basically exploiting your demons. Like, it's a mixture of Silent Hill and basically the premise. You're put into darkness where your greatest demons are finally revealed to you. And you have to face them in a way that basically, you have no choice but to face your mistakes. Like, that is the biggest, like, that's perfect. That's the best way to describe Grimdark right there. Whenever anybody asks me to describe Grimdark, I tell them, look at the premise of, Silent Hill. Silent Hill has the perfect example of Grimdark. Perfect example. Like, what is Silent Hill about? It's basically about people coming to a town to solve a puzzle that has to do with whatever their biggest problem is. And they have to go through hell in order to find it. And in the end, if you make the right decision, you walk out. But if you don't make the right decision, then more than likely you're dead. That's why Silent Ponyville was really, really good to me. Whoa. Who's your favorite MLP character? RD. Also, hi Easter Chew. How are you doing? RD's my favorite. Twilight would be my second favorite because she reflects on me from my childhood a lot. Okay, I random re, but but yeah, one of my biggest nitpicks with people and Grimdark is the fact that they think that it has to be gory in order to be good. That is not true. That's why whenever I see Grimdarks that are just gore fests, I'm like, this is not Grimdark to me. Another one of my least favorites is definitely Something Sweet to Bite. I hate that one. And it's not because of a certain character, it's not because it's so freaking predictable and over the top. It's because it relies too much on gore and just to push the boundaries of what I consider fucked upness. Like, that's the best way to put it right there. Like, they're trying to use the Candy Mare and her, tactics as the way to basically make it grimdark. That's not how you create a good grimdark. What is your favorite MLP episode? That's a tie between Cutie Mark Chronicles and... I think I'd have to choose The Perfect Pair, because The Perfect Pair was a really good one. What is my favorite horror movie? Too many to count. I can't choose just one. Hey Mark, what's up? Where'd you get all my friends in plushie form? Walmart, actually, minus the one that's in the background. This one right over here. That one I got from my niece for actually 75 cents. Believe it or not. I actually got that. I got that one for cheap, and I couldn't believe it. Like, she got it from like one of those, like thrift stores. She got it for 75 cents. When originally, it's actually pretty expensive. It's like $40. It's like one of those ones that comes from like a con or something like that. Is there any Cadence Grimdark? Like, she kills Twilight for being over obsessive about or towards Shining Armor, and Cadence is like, your brother is mine and mine alone. Not in that sense, but there is definitely cadence ones out there. But yeah, I don't know if I've really come across very many cadence based ones, but yeah, they're out there. You just gotta look. Mm, yeah, Twilight, you're up there. See ya? You're up there with Rarity. So, whoa, hang on. So today I was looking on Reels on demand for the first time, and I found out something that I think changed my life forever. What could that be? But a lot of horror films have inspired me in my writing and all that stuff. Stuff. Wow. Friday the 13th is based on a true story. Well, based on a true story. Okay, here's the thing. You got to look at horror films like this. Ones that say that they are either one based on a true story or based on true events. Based on a true story means that it came from another story. Like, I didn't know this until now, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, okay, the movie itself is not the events that occurred. It's based off of Ed Gein, who was a real life killer. That, yikes. I probably can't reveal this shit, so you're probably going to have to go to look that up on Google if you want to know the full story behind Ed Gein. Let's just say he's inspired a lot of horror films. Psycho, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where are the other ones? Like, he's inspired a lot of horror films. I'm not joking either. It's like one that I thought was actually real, The Strangers, one of the freakiest horror movies I've ever seen in my life. That one is based off the Charles Manson murders, Helter Skelter. It's based on some Finland murder in the 60s. That would make sense because Voorhees doesn't seem like an American terminology. That's like Halloween is based on a true story in Illinois. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Just be warned, it is very disturbing. And you'll understand why the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a thing. Halloween, I don't know if it's based off a true, killing or murder. I don't really know for sure. But I like there's a lot of good horror films out there that are based on true events, but I did not know that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on Ed Gein until I looked. And the reason why Psycho is based off of him is because he looked like your average ordinary guy that wouldn't harm a fly. That's actually a term from one, like the actual Psycho film, the original. One of the last lines in that movie is that Norman Bates wouldn't even harm a fly. And there's a scene where a fly lands on his hand and he doesn't even touch it. It's actually a very creepy scene. You've probably seen it if you've seen Psycho. Do I have Songbird Serenade? No, they never sold her. Smash or pass? Lightning Bliss or Mad Munch? Bleh. I don't feel comfortable answering that. I don't see Rainbow Dash in the background. She's right. She's hiding behind this thing right here. She's right behind it. There's plenty of Rainbow Dashes in this room. No. Oh, jeez. Like, okay, there's one right there. Right there. Up here. Turn my phone a little bit. Right there. If I can figure out how my finger works. Right there. And right below that is a Rainbow Dash Bank somewhere right here in this vicinity. I missed some comments. Even Scream was based on a true story. Yeah, a lot of murder films are based on true stories. What was the one? Silence of the Lambs. That's actually based off something. Helter Skelter was not Helter Skelter. Fuck me. That was Hannibal Lecter was actually a real killer. Real. And he was a cannibal, but a very smart man. I've seen Psycho on TV, and you're right, that ending is so creepy. Yes, it is. It's one of the most haunting ones. Is it okay to scream during your recording if you're playing as a character screaming or fake scream. What? Is it okay to scream during... Wait. Is it okay to scream during your recording if you're playing as a character screaming or fake scream? You want it to be as real as possible, so you need to learn how to scream without killing your voice. Did I see the song trailer? Yeah, it's an abomination. I still own the Psycho DVD till this day. They resell it at my Walmart all the time. See you later. I love Grimdark. Grimdark focuses more. It does not focus. It doesn't focus not on gore, but emotional abuse and torture. Have a nice chill week in the summer. If it ever gets summer here. See you, Zachary. But yeah, he put it pretty good. Yeah, emotional abuse emotional and mental abuse is the best way to describe Grimdark. Like I didn't even know what it actually was until I looked a little deeper into it, and I came across that it's one of those things where Scribbler like just rambles. I can't remember what you call them. Ramble rant. That's what it's called. And they ramble about Grimdark and understanding what it is. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a little bit more sense now. Because even I didn't really know what it is or how to tell tell how to actually, determine what is Grimdark and what is not Grimdark. Because the term itself really doesn't give away any sort of, remnants of what it means. Grim and dark. Something that's grim is normally disturbing and very, just terrifying. Dark, we all know what that means. That basically means something is just horrifying. I have MLP Season 3 on DVD. I don't. But the real Scream story was very disturbing when the more you know. Okay. How about Sleepaway Camp? The ending was weird and creepy. I haven't seen that. That's way too old for me. Waiting for Stephen and Nate on DVD. Yeah. Basically, Mark lives in the UK, so they don't get the seasons as often as America does. Because Hasbro is an American-based company. So the UK doesn't get it as often. It takes forever for the Brits to actually get the seasons on DVD, even over Amazon or something like that. Because you gotta be careful. And I can't describe what happened in the real Scream murders, but what I say was very disturbing. It was. Scream was like one of the very first horror films I actually ever saw. I remember, like, the most famous... Sorry. I remember the most famous line from the movie. It's like one of the biggest, it's one of the biggest horror, taglines. What's your favorite scary movie? I'll be right back. All right, we're still streaming. So I can't remember where I even was. Oh yeah, Scream was like the very first movies, like horror movies I actually ever saw. And technically, Scream really isn't horror. It's more of a like a mystery, like kind of like one of those kind of stories, like a mystery horror kind of thing. It's not necessarily like horror straight up. Sure, it's got a lot of jump scares and a killer that basically like it's slasher horror. Best way to put it. Not personally my favorite kind of horror. My favorite psychological. Hence my name, Stephen King Jr. Uh, is there any new comments? Will Tempest Shadow come through in the next episode? No. Highly doubtful. But Tempest, I'm hoping she makes a little cameo appearance in Rainbow Road Trip. I think that's what it's called. Because of the fact that Kepper made an unexpected appearance in episode 13. It's during Celestia and Luna's song. He appears in the background. And I didn't know this until, who posted it? I want to say it was Little Shy that actually posted, or was it Miss Anthropony? I'm not sure. One of the two. But yeah, Kepper makes a little bit of an appearance in the actual story. Or not the story, the episode. So yeah, that actually happened. So I have a feeling Tempest could make a background appearance. Not like for dialogue or anything, but as a character itself. So yeah, Scream was like one of the very first horror films I actually ever saw. And I just remember that first line when she answers the phone. What's your favorite scary movie? And I'm like, okay, that's a little teensy bit creepy. Why people don't like Wallflower Blush? She's adorable. Because she's kind of in the classification of what's his name? Flash Sentry. Like, okay, I'll basically replay exactly what I said when I first saw Wallflower Blush. I said, hello, obvious villain. Because that's how obvious the freaking Equestria Girls movies have gotten. Well, specials, technically. Because she appeared in a special, not in a movie. But obvious villain. I'm like, oh, that's obvious. She's the villain. How she did this, I have no idea. Okay. Scream was the first slasher movie I've ever known. And in matter of fact, I known of it when I was little. Uh, Now the first horror movie that legitimately scared the shit out of me was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, not the original. I mean, who wouldn't get scared at a guy wielding a chainsaw and killing people? I could have named somebody. I mean, even the opening part of the movie kind of gets you on edge. Like, it makes you immediately go, oh my god. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. When I very first saw that scene where she basically just shoots herself like, like straight through the mouth, I'm like, oh my god. That's horrible. And seeing I follow the channel Dead Meat, basically I learned how certain effects were made. Apparently, there was one of the shots, like the one where they're actually going from the inside of the hole and out the back of the head. That camera angle was impossible to get at some point. But yeah, that movie definitely made me afraid. Like, I'm not kidding. Every time I hear a chainsaw outside, I hear the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, that sound is so iconic now. And here's how the director actually came up with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He came up with it like this. He was in a department store one day, I think it was during Black Friday, if I remember correct. And it was the longest shit line that he was in to get out of the store. So basically he was in, like, a department where there was like a chainsaw off to the side. And he basically thought like this. Like, this sounds very morbid, but it's actually not that morbid. He looks down at the chainsaw and goes like this. He says, I could pick that up and I could make this trip so much faster. That's how he came up with the idea for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm like, okay, I have many concerns. Yeah, but that kind of made me go, oy vey, I don't know how to feel about that. But yeah, that was like the very first one that actually creeped me out. One of the more recent ones that actually creeped me out was what was it called? Sinister. That one, okay, while it is kind of cheap on the aspect of horror, it is a really spooky film. Wow. The remake introduced me to that series. One of the horror movies that scared me apparently in my teen years was Dead Silence. That one wasn't that scary. Sinister, that one is scary as freaking crap because of the fact that ghoul thing. I can't remember what they called it. It's like the boogeyman. That thing is absolutely creepy. And the way that he appears in certain scenes, like, ay vey, I don't want to even be near that thing. Sinister was freaking creepy. That actually made me look at things like twice before I even did anything. Uh, Another one was The Strangers. The Strangers definitely had me always looking out windows and not wanting to be home alone because I thought that these people were legit real. But no, it's based off of the Manson murders in the 70s. It's based off Helter Skelter. Like because in the Helter Skelter killings, apparently it went like this. Apparently someone came into like two people or like the people that were going to kill them. The family didn't think really much of it when they intruded. They didn't really think anything of it. So when they find out they're going to kill him, and the one scene from The Strangers that still creeps me out is that wide angle shot of Mr. Potato Bag Head basically sneaking up behind the girl. Well, he doesn't sneak up, he just peeks. Like, it's a wide angle shot. Okay, you see Liv Tyler right there. But in the background, you see the guy just like peek his head into the kitchen, and the entire time her back is turned. And he's in the house. You think he's going to attack her, but no, he doesn't. And the second she turns her back, gone. I'm like, okay, that's a little spooky. I can't tell if my internet's derping or if I don't know. But basically, horror has left an impact on my life. But one of the biggest films that ever inspired my, horror persona as myself was definitely Saw. The Saw series. Okay, here's the thing. When it first came out, my mom refused to let me watch it because one, I was young. Two, if you've seen the film, you know exactly why. It's pretty horrific. Many put it as torture porn now, but I still think that twist at the end is the coolest thing ever. The first one, the twist in the first one, when they find out that Sepp is just another player, I'm like, oh my god! And then the guy gets off the ground, and like, are you kidding me? What? Like, you're just completely just shell shocked, and I love that about that film. That is one of my favorites, and is definitely one of the biggest impacts on my way to becoming a horror writer or a horror, a person who likes horror. But I was always into horror. I read Goosebumps in school. I was a huge R.L. Stine fan, Stephen King fan. I mean, speak of the devil, I've got a Stephen King book right here on my desk. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of influences of horror in my life. But enough about me blabbering on. You guys can ask a question now or something like that, but this is just basically a talk and chill stream, so yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have led up to me being a horror writer and all that stuff, and what inspires me personally. like Stephen King was the one that really taught me how psychological horror works, and how it is. How do I put this? Like how psychological horror is supposed to be written, how it's supposed to be portrayed. Like, uh, what was the one that really got me? I want to say it was the Tommyknockers, but I don't think it was. The Shining, that was it. The Shining. But once you figure out what is actually going on, it's really cool. Saw was gory, and I've never saw it. Nice pun. Until years later, but before I seen the first one, I had seen Saw 2. Well, you really hadn't missed anything, except just one of the best twists in horror movies ever. Even though Saw wasn't intended to be a horror movie, it was actually intended to be like a mystery, like, you know, like crime kind of thing. If you think about it, it kind of was. I mean, what's Jigsaw? He's a psychopath, he's a killer. But there's no real horror aspect to it. It's literally more like a it's more like an aspect of uh true crime with just horrifying traps. Like it is torture. Torture porn definitely, but that's the best way to put it. There's no real horror aspect, just disturbing imagery. I mean, sure there is a few points where it does get a little fucking scary. Uh like here's the thing. Like the scenes where the pig like jump scares you, like when Adam is like taking pictures and you can and the light beacon like kind of like what Scott applied into Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. When you have to use the light beacon to tell where Fun Time Foxy, is that what that one's called? Where that one is at. That is the best way to put it. Like the light beacon thing, yeah, that was pretty scary. Why did he? Oh wait, never mind. The electricity was cut. But basically, the light beacon hold like crap. Yeah, that scared the living shit out of you because you didn't expect when that jump scare was gonna come. I mean, it was a whole new turning stone for horror, and yeah. Also, I've been delving a little bit into like playing Five Nights at Freddy's for you guys. Like I'm just deciding when to do it. I haven't really been able to delve deeper into like the lore or anything. I've just been watching like certain like replays of the game. But the lore is still kind of conflicted to me. Like it well not conflicted, but it's all over the place to me. Because I'm still trying to actually learn how the lore works and what order it's going in. Like I know Sister Location Ford is all based. Well, no. Sister Location and hang on. No, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 Ford takes place in the past. Terrible Magician Pony. Isabel, I wanted to drop by and say great readings, dude. Thank you. But the reason why Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is part of like, Sister Location and all them is because it focuses around the bite of 83, which is before the bite of 87. So it takes place in the past, and you're trying to figure out, what the story is there. It's basically about.
That still kills your appetite.
Sorry. It's about basically a kid who attended like a birthday party and was killed as the bite of 83. And it kind of teaches you a little teensy bit about like, the spirits of the animatronics and all that stuff. But other than that, that's really all that Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is all about. It's just about a kid, the victim of the bite of 83, who basically was he was having nightmares because his brother was a dick. So yeah, that's literally all Five Nights at Freddy's 4 really teaches you. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was basically the Kickstarter. There wasn't going to be any lore around it or anything like that because it was a Kickstarter. So, yeah, the whole thing with that one was that basically it was supposed to be a horror game. But by Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is where the lore starts to come into play. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place in the future after Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Freddy's 1. Which I'm not sure about Five Nights at Freddy's 1 nor when it takes place. I really can't tell, honestly. I want to say that one takes place during the bite of. Well, no. That would take place after the bite of 87, like barely afterwards, because in the very first recording that you hear in the beginning of Night 1 for Five Nights at Freddy's, you basically, how do I put it? You basically hear that he's talking about the bite of 83, or no, 87, excuse me. So I'm guessing Five Nights at Freddy's 1 takes place sometime in the 90s. Probably like 92, 93, something like that. 10 years afterwards. But as for the bite, like, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place after that because it's a whole new location with different animatronics. Then Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is where things get interesting. That one takes place after Five Nights at Freddy's 2 because it's a horror attraction based off of, the original, where basically the whole thing was haunted and yada yada yada. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is where it finally goes back in the past to the bite of 83 and you learn about, the victim and all that stuff. As for Sister Location and all them, that's where I get lost. But Sister Location, you play as, I believe, Purple Guy. Because basically, yeah, it screams Purple Guy. Even in the cutscenes, there's the guy who appears purple, like he's a happy dude, and then by night, was it 5? Then by night 5, he basically turns into this monstrosity. Like, literally, that's the best way to put it. So I feel that is Purple Guy. Now, how Purple Guy, what his intentions are, what kind of guy he is, he's a murderer for sure. But I have a feeling there's a lot more around that story than just what we know. But as for, like, his brother and all that stuff, I don't really know anything on that.
Did you eat while we was gone?
No, I ate chicken earlier.
So are you full right now, or?
No, I'm hungry.
So what do you want?
I'll just
figure out something.
Sorry. But basically, yeah, that's the whole. Gotta go, Sparrow. Thank you guys. You're awesome. Also, Twilight, I did see your comment. Yes, I do have Shining Armor. He's actually right there where my finger's pointing. That's him. So, yeah, basically the whole thing from, like, Sister Location forward is, like, where things start to get hard to understand. Like, I really don't know much, like, who you play as in Sister Location. I'm guessing Purple Guy or someone before Purple Guy. But that seems to unwrap a little bit of, the past before the bite. Well, maybe possibly the bite of 87. It could be based around. No, because that would have taken place before. Hang on. Also, hello, headset. Part 1. Yeah, that would have taken place before the bite of 87. No, God, I'm thinking hard now. That would have taken place right. I think right after the bite of 87, or right before the thing, like the whole timeline of 80. No, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. See what I mean? There's a lot to put together, so it's kind of hard for me personally to put it all together into one and just trying to think it all together. I'm doing good. I'm just talking to my viewers, basically. But yeah, the whole thing about, like, what spirits are in the animatronics and what causes some of the events at like, the pizzeria and all that stuff, that is basically still very conflicted. Like, the whole, yes, I am talking about FNAF. Even with the new VR one. The VR one reveals something, definitely. But I think this is more based around the future. Even though it reveals a whole new, what did they call him? Glitch Trap. It reveals Glitch Trap, which I have a feeling could be Purple Guy's brother. Or something like that. The lore might be a conflicted series, but it was an awesome series. Well, it's not over yet. Scott hasn't confirmed any sort of end or anything. They were making a movie. I don't know if they
We're
still.
having ham and cheese sandwiches grilled. Do you want one?
I take
Yeah.
my
For
chances
two.
too, so living on the edge.
Sorry. I meant the new animatronic, not the one from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was Springtrap. 4 was Glitch Trap. But Glitch Trap is an interesting character because we don't know if he takes place in the future or the past. If I had to guess, the past, and I think that could be Purple Guy's brother. Seeing at the end sequence when you beat Glitch Trap correctly, I don't know if you even beat him. You're in a room, and Game Theory guy, what's his name? Yeah, the guy who does Game Theory, he put it perfectly. That in the end sequence, it's not that you locked Glitch Trap away, you're locked away. Because there's like handprints on like the lock, so that signifies you're in a room that someone was trying to escape. So you're locked away. So who is Glitch Trap? That's my question. And I have a feeling Scott will probably reveal more of that in like games to come. Sorry about that light, but I can't really do anything about that. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. That's gonna have to work. But the whole thing with like Five Nights at Freddy's is there's just so much to comprehend that it's impossible to really comprehend all of it. There's so much. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So yeah, that's as far as I can go on Five Nights at Freddy's. So if you guys want to see me play that, probably the latest that I will probably play it is Halloween, because I have a feeling that's just a good like a special thing for Halloween, because it would be fun. It'd just be a fun thing. Slenderer is not an easy series. Well, it takes some playing around with in order to really get correct. But people have also asked me to do readings based around, Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I honestly don't know if I'm ready for that yet. It's like I never played FNAF, but I used to love watching players play it. My favorite to watch is definitely Markiplier, because his analyzation and his gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's is just fun to watch. Like, he's the only legit gamer that... Oh, hi, Romance. He's like the only legit gamer that I find enjoyable to watch anymore. I mean, literally, that's the only gamer I really like to watch anymore. He keeps it simplistic. He doesn't use like fancy stuff in order to, make it unrealistic. Sure, he has like an editor that does like fancy stuff to his visuals, but he sticks to it. Oh geez. Climbs out trapdoor. Okay. I don't have the guts to. It's not that scary, dude. Honestly, it's not that scary. Once you get jump scared like the first 3 times, you get used to it. It becomes very apparent, what is going to happen, and when you're going to get jump scared. Like, the most challenging part of, I think, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, well, there's 2 challenges. One is when you get to night 5. Or is that night 6? I'm not sure. That's night 5. Shadow Freddy. Shadow Freddy is one of the toughest sons of bees to beat, because he's constantly outside of your door, and you have to be very careful. Like, if you don't close your door, you're in trouble. Big time. Because he can just sneak in whenever he wants to, and he's really hard to beat. The other challenge is, of course, Foxy. Foxy, you have to always keep an eye on, and of course, by night 5, he's really active, so you have to be very careful. But the last time I played Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I managed to go from night 1 to night 5, no problems. Because Markiplier is the king. He's the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah. But, yeah. The last time I played Five Nights at Freddy's, I played Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and I made it night 1 through night 5, and then I got stuck. Because Shadow Freddy is always the hardest son of a bitch to get past. And you can't keep the door down the entire night, otherwise you're going to run out of power. Balloon Boy was the most hardest character to deal with, in my opinion, while watching gamers. Balloon Boy is all about timing. Once you see him in the vents, or hear him personally, what you have to do is you just have to put the mask on while winding up that freaking music box. You just gotta be very, very careful. You gotta keep that music box wound up. Like, with the virtual reality one now, it's actually really easy to beat, like, to keep it wound, because you can just spam it with, like, you have 2 hands to use. So one can be, like, controlling the vents while the other's, like, pushing the button to, like, keep that thing wound. On PC version, yeah, much harder. I made it to night 6 and I could not beat it. The one that would always get me, I think, this was Five Nights at Freddy's 1, so I think it was freaking Shadow Freddy that got me every time. I know the hardest one is definitely Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is almost... it's night 1 is hard. It is legitimately hard, because the hardest buggers to beat in that one is Chica, the newest Chica, the newest Bonnie, and the headless ones, of course. Those ones are all so hard to beat because it's all about timing. And of course, Foxy, you got to keep an eye on, because you got to flash him with the flashlight, otherwise you're in trouble. The scariest thing in the virtual reality one is definitely Freddy on night 2, because you don't know when he's going to strike. I don't think in the second game he does that. Never played the games, as I'd be too scared. I only watched Jacksepticeye's playthroughs on them, except the decent one, the recent ones. Mangle, I can't remember how you beat it. I think that it's kind of like Foxy. You got to catch Mangle at the right time, otherwise you're screwed. You're just screwed. You've got to flash it at the right time. Like, while it's still down the hall, flash, 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 flash. Otherwise, it's going to get you. Now, in the 4th game, when Mangle, in the Halloween edition, now when Mangle makes an appearance in that one, oh boy, it gets hard. Because of the fact Mangle makes it impossible for you to hear the steps outside of your door. So it is so hard, especially when you're someone who doesn't play with freaking headphones. My strategy for night 5 in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was this: run from one door, then don't even risk it. Open the door, flash, close. If he wasn't there, just run to the other door and keep listening for that laugh. Because the trick with was it Nightmare Fredbear? I think that's his name. But Nightmare Freddy, basically. Okay, someone's very creepily coming into my bedroom.
I had to open the door with my head. I had to open the door. I could put your head. Who are you calling?
I'm talking in a stream right now.
I can't really give a hug right now because look at my hands! How big is it? Can it? This, my shoes, my outfit, my rules, and Mom eels here.
Oh my goodness, child.
Yeah.
What's your fingers, Charlie? Meet my family, everybody. But basically, the whole thing with Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is, well, night 5. My strategy was door, 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 listen for that laugh. Because the trick with the one that appears on night 5, no, those are my nieces. When they appear on night 5, basically the whole idea of the laugh is if it's like really, really loud, then he's in the bedroom. You have to either run to the bed or run to the closet. But first, you gotta get past like Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica, and the ones that are behind you. I don't know what that one is. That's like the teddy bear one. Nightmare Freddy. I can't remember what their names are, but yeah, some of those were really hard. I mean, I beat Golden Freddy pretty well, not Golden Freddy, but you know what I mean. Nightmare Freddy, whatever his name is, Fazbear. He's pretty easy to beat. You just got to really not fuck up, and you just got to be careful, very, very careful. Just follow your routine and just keep going and going and going until 6 a.m. I've never played the games, but I've seen most of Markiplier's gameplay on the games. Yeah. But holy shit, we're on an hour, and I've only had one internet derp. Yay! So yeah, I've only played 1 and 4. Wait, have I played 3? No, I haven't played 3. 3 to me was where things got a little bit more difficult because you had to keep an eye on the vents. Even though many people are saying that's probably one of the easiest ones because of the fact all you had to do was just keep Springtrap in one spot. That's all you got. That's all you had to do. You just had to keep him in one spot and just keep playing the audio over and over, and you would be fine. And that's just the trick to it. It's like in the first one, you don't even have to like really, you don't really have to look at the cameras. All you have to do is watch outside your doors. That's it. All you have to do is just flash the light outside your doors, just watch for Bonnie or Chica, and if they appear, shut your door. But that's all you gotta do. If they appear, shut your door. Foxy, of course, and that's the trick. All you gotta do on the camera is just look. I don't know why, and I don't get scared by narrations. I only get scared if it's narrated with art. For example, the Chronicle of Curseword, and Don't Let Her In. I think it's called that. Don't Let Her In. That don't sound familiar. Are you talking about Let Her In? The one about Fluttershy outside the window? That's what I think you're talking about, because Don't Let Her In, the closest thing that I can think of is Let Her In. Oh. Okay. Yeah, Let Her In was pretty spooky, and I actually didn't intend for the imagery to be that scary. It was just a matter of complete and utter luck that the like fade in like really worked that way, that the eyes were the first thing that appeared. Do you know the FNAF 1987 Easter egg as well? If it's the one from the 4th game, I think I know what you're talking about. The TV. Like if you turn on the TV, there should be an advert for 1980. That'd be 83 though. The Bite of 83. Because that's what the 4th game revolves around. If anyone would be the most interesting for you guys, I think Sister Location would be the one. Because there's so much to that one. Like there's more than just sitting in a desk and looking outside your doors. Plus I've played the first one a lot. So I kind of know what it's about and how to beat it for the most part. I don't think I could ever beat Night 6 though. Night 6 is I've also watched Don't Let Her In by Sparrow, and I gotta say, I was worried about Apple Bloom's safety. I'll be right back. I know!
Tyler! Riley? Riley?
Thank you. Got some dinner. While I let those cool off. Goody's narration was the one that kind of made me jump, even though I knew it was going to happen. Also, an apple sleep experiment that was so creepy and gory I couldn't make it through it. I made it through. I have to admit that certain parts of it were kind of over the top, though. I mean, like I said before, I'm personally not a fan of gore. I'm not a fan of, like, gory stuff. I like psychological. And that one was very psychological. Like, Applejack's, she thinks that the Flim Flam brothers are there, but they're not. That's very psychological and like very like psychedelic. So that's what it reminds me of. Like that one is very psychological, but the point where she's basically taking ponies to the, the forest and basically decapitating them, that's where things get a little over the top. The only ones I can get through is any I starred in just to see if I think my acting is cringy or not. Yeah. Your acting in Elaborate Song was fantastic. But yeah, that's basically my whole view on Five Nights at Freddy's. If any that I would play for you guys, I would play probably Sister Location. Because I feel like that would just be fun because it's something different and a lot of fun. I play the mobile version, so I wouldn't see like, the cutscenes or anything like that. Like the secrets. And I think the part where I would have the most trouble is that one where those like shadow things are like crawling up your suit. Where Baby basically takes you and puts you in the suit to protect you from the scooper. Or whatever it's called. Trying to remember. Yeah, the scooping room, I think is what it's called. But basically that is probably the hardest part of the entire game. Minus probably the light beacon. The light beacon is probably where you have to go through Funtime Foxy's part of it. Holy shins and dicks, is that going to be a hard one. Like, yeah, the light beacon, you can't be too close to her. Otherwise you're in trouble. Of course, I would go probably for the full game completion. Like, instead of, I wouldn't want to die, so I'd have to follow. I would have to disobey Baby and get to the area that's like the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 nostalgia room, like where you have to actually play Five Nights at Freddy's in order to avoid the scooping room or Ballora killing you. That one was legitimately, I think, the scariest one. Even though Five Nights at Freddy's 4 had some pretty nightmarish-looking animatronics. Springtrap wasn't really that scary. Again, you really know the characters from 1, so you really don't care about you really don't get scared at their characters that easily. Again, the second game, the creepiest ones, I believe, are the ones that have no head. Hello, MLP Harmony Rocks. I'm probably going to close this up pretty soon. We're not getting very many viewers, and how hot are these? Ooh, they're pretty hot. So, and my jaw is actually getting kind of hurt. It's kind of starting to hurt, but that's what wire's for. So if you guys got questions for me, I've talked a lot. If you got questions for me, let me know. do I have a personal favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game? The only one I'm not really accustomed with is the simulator one. The simulator one I'm really not accustomed to because I didn't really watch very much gameplay of it. Because the gameplay of that one, okay, let me explain why I didn't watch too many like gameplays of it. Because they were longer than hell. Like, even Markiplier's playthroughs of the game were like 3 hours long. And I don't have time to just sit and watch a 3-hour video. So that's the only one I really don't know much about. And they probably reveal more, secrets about, the whole game lore and all that shit. But that's the one I don't know much about. That one probably takes place way in the past because of the fact it's a whole different pizzeria. Probably the first construction of the very first Five Nights, or not, the very first like pizzeria. And you're playing literally as the original like person who made it. Probably Purple Guy. I was gonna also get off after uploading my reaction to one of that person's videos, but I saw your live stream and thought, why not join? Yeah, me and that person don't really have good relations right now, so that's a thing. Don't ask, because I don't have the answer. But basically, yeah, that's the whole thing with Five Nights at Freddy's for me. My favorite game, if I had to pick one, I would have to say it's probably... I would probably say, I haven't played Sister Location yet, so I would probably say probably the first one. The first one is definitely the most challenging. As far as like, as on average, it's probably the most like complex and most challenging game, minus Sister Location, which has way more to it. It's alright, Sparrow. Not everyone in the Brony fandom gets along well. It's not. I'm just gonna shut up. I don't want problems. But yeah, it's just yeah. How much longer do I want to go? I'll go to about an hour and 20 minutes, and then I think I'm gonna close it because I want to eat. Yeah, I know. But yeah. But don't worry, guys. I'm slowly getting things together. Like I said, I've got 3 stories so far planned for Month Macabre, but I gotta get everything together first. I gotta still find a VA for a certain character, and I got a lot of recording to do. Yes, YouTube is my job technically. So I've got to get to recording them. Like, one is basically ready to go. I just need to figure out the voice that I want to not narrate, but commentate in. But it's going to be much different this year. Like most of the time, Month Macabre stuff has for the Month Macabre, I normally stick around a theme. Like last year, it was tragedy and like a lot of tragedy. The year before was like a gore fest. And this year, it's going to be like a mix. So this year, we've got something that's basically... one is... We've got 2 sequels. Well, is that one technically a sequel? It's kind of a sequel and a prequel at the same time. So, we'll call it an addition. We've got an addition to a certain fic coming up. We've got also something that I wrote. It was supposed to be totally different at the beginning, but ended up being something totally different. It's going to be a little bit iffy for some people, but I really don't care. I do it for fun. Excuse me. And the other one, again, it's another sequel. And this is a sequel to an old story, like from way back. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I gotta find a VA for certain characters. I've already gave Romance one, because she's a good apple bloom. So there's your hint. So yeah. How long have I been a narrator? Well, for YouTube, I've been a narrator for about almost 3 years. But the thing is, my entire life I've been really good at reading stories and narrating stuff, so it's kind of been there my whole life. I just really haven't looked into it. Am I a gamer? Not really. Not really exactly, because I used to be a huge gamer when I was little. Like when I was like back in the Crash Bandicoot days and all that stuff. Yeah, huge game. I was a huge gamer. Loved playing those games. But basically, that's the best way to put it, honestly. But yeah, I don't game much anymore. What'd that say? Right on for romancy. Okay. But let's see, we got about 3 minutes, so yeah, you guys got any questions for me? Minus personal stuff? Ask away. Ugh. When did I become a brony? Ugh. That would have been, I believe, let's see, it was right late 2015, I believe, is when I became a brony. Because it was during the season 5 hiatus. I remember that for a fact. So this was 2015. And I was watching the season 4 finale. And of course, there's that Turok and Twilight battle. And that's what made me into a brony, basically. It was quite the ride. So that would have been late 2015. Favorite character that's not in the main six? Yikes. If I had to choose one off the top of my head, well, actually, no, that's Best Princess. I would think. Let's see, one that's not the main six, and one that is not a CMC or a princess. I'd have to choose Luna, because Luna, I don't know. There's just something about her character that I like. I mean, I can't really think off the top of my head right now what some of my favorite characters are. I mean, there's a lot of characters that I like, but Luna is my favorite princess, and she's not in the main six, so there you go. Didn't know you've been a narrator for 3 years. Well, I haven't. My channel hasn't always revolved around narration. It first started out as a guitar cover channel. That didn't work. Then it went to a reaction channel. It kind of works. It's just kind of a side thing. But narration was really when the channel started to take off. So reactions they're still there, and guitar covers are every once in a while. But basically, narration is where things have been. It's been there my whole life. Like, I've been a narrator my whole life, not constantly narrating like I do now, but basically the whole thing with it. I've just been good at narration my whole life, and I didn't realize it until now. So that's a thing. And good luck with narrating yourself. Well, I call her Squeaky Belle. I call her Romance. I call her the Green Leprechaun. My dream career is voice acting and narrating, hopefully in bigger stuff. All right, so we're at about an hour and 20 minutes. All right, yep, I'm gonna have to go now because my jaw is getting kind of sore from talking so much. So I thank you all for joining me and listening to me ramble on for hours and just chilling with me. So thank you guys for joining, and I will see you next time hopefully for another chill stream or something else cooler. Take care, guys.